What's up? Welcome into the DNVR Broncos Podcast. I'm Henry Chisholm. It's Todd Davis over there.
Yes, sir.
No Zach today. It's going to be weird. We actually don't have him Monday or Tuesday either because of the owners' meetings.
Yeah. He's traveling, you know what I'm saying? So we got the best of the best.
Wow, the best of the best when you hear. There we go.
2 out of 3.
Did you watch any of the basketball games yesterday?
I haven't. I've been ripping and running.
None?
All over town.
Okay.
I watched no much. I know I'm behind. I got to catch up. I know that Oakland beat KU. I know that.
Yep.
Shout out Oaktown. You know what I'm saying? Bay Area. So love that.
Yep. Yeah. We wound up. So they're doing that live stream today.
Yep.
Starts when it starts. And it was supposed to end at like 5 yesterday. But I had subbed on, and we wound up just going all the way to the end.
Dang.
Yeah, so the last shift, I was sitting there for like 6-7 hours until the end of the last game.
Dang.
Which is like fine because, I don't know. This show, we try to be professional. But down there, it's just like you're sitting at the bar watching the basketball game.
Yeah.
So it's a different vibe.
Did you have some drinks?
Had a lot of drinks.
Oh, yeah. That's a good time then.
Yeah, some guy bought us some shots, and
There
that
you
was
go.
what. Because I haven't taken shots in forever. Like, this is like the dip in my social life. And then baseball season starts. You start going to like Rockies games and like the bars down there
Starts
before,
picking back
after.
up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I wasn't ready for all that.
Shots are fun, man, but shots, I feel like it's very easy for me to know when, like, I've had too many. Because, like, you know, the first shot, you kind of taste it. You know, then you get somewhere down the middle where it just is like water.
Exactly.
You don't taste it anymore. When you start tasting it again, you have to stop. Like,
You do.
If you keep taking shots at that point, you're going to hit a brick wall.
It is crazy because like I feel kind of hungover. And I didn't have like a crazy amount. Like I'm sure some of you were watching the stream, like a few beers, like a couple shots. Like it wasn't a whole bunch, but then all of a sudden you get to the next morning and I don't know. I'm just washed. It's a shame. But when we're done with this, you guys should all go over and watch. I think we actually are going to be.
Oakland.
Is it,
I just like the name. I'm just saying shout out to the city of Oakland because of what Oakland did.
And you know some
what
of the
I'm
guys
saying?
on the team have to be from there.
You know?
Yeah,
That's all I'm talking about. Yeah. I just like what I saw. You know what I'm saying? That's hilarious.
That is really good. Yeah. Also, we're giving away a Todd Davis signed football card on the live stream later today. So when we're done talking here, go over there.
Go over there.
Yes. Okay. Let's get into Broncos stuff. Let's jump up with our bracket, our March Madness bracket, where we're going through and figure out who would be the best option for the Broncos with the 12th pick in the draft. So today we've got Brock Bowers, who is down there in that left corner, versus Michael Penix Jr. Also, do we have the results from yesterday? Maybe we should hit those. Okay. Drake May won with 80%.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
quick.
He's a quarterback, yeah. Brock Bowers, Michael Penix Jr. Off the top of your head, who would you take for the Broncos?
Michael Penix.
Yeah.
If he can produce the way he did in college, man, I think he has all the traits to
Yeah.
be a successful NFL quarterback. You talk about what Sean wants. I think his play reading ability. He's able to decipher defenses. And then his accuracy. I think he's on point. I think he's able to put the football right where it needs to be for his wide receivers and lets them go up and make good catches. So I think he's exactly what we need at quarterback and what we haven't had since Payton. So I think he would be a phenomenal fit for the Broncos. No disrespect to Brock Bowers. I think he's a great tight end. But when you talk about a franchise-changing player, quicker, it's your quarterback more so than your tight end.
Definitely. Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see Penix in a Sean Payton offense because I think Bo Nix right now is the guy that everybody's pointing to saying like he would be the perfect Sean Payton quarterback because he makes all the short throws, like keeps the offense on schedule, gets the ball out quick. And I have my own kind of doubts about that stuff, just wondering if like he could run a more complicated offense. But with Penix, it's interesting because a lot of what he does is to the boundary. And like there's a lot of like great passes, of course, but like they're deep balls up the sideline or maybe even deep balls up the middle you see too, but it isn't quite as clinical, short and intermediate, which is something that maybe ticks up or he learns or you teach him to do. But does that concern you at all?
No, I don't feel concerned with his game. I think that he has the ability to do both.
Yeah,
I think he can get better at it. Even in the league with Sean. So I'm not concerned by his game. I think he's a phenomenal player. Somebody in the comments said this should be the finalist. Like, kinda. Like,
yeah.
if they would have started on two sides of the bracket, they probably would have ended up going head to head for the title. So it's a good matchup.
It is. Yeah, Penix would be a lot of fun. Like, he isn't like splashy in the ways that some of the other guys are, because so much of what they do is just like the crazy plays, like Sports Center type plays. Whereas with Penix, it's just like the accuracy. And we even saw that with Russell a bit last year. Like some of those, like that ball to Cortland Sutton where he's like reaching out of the end zone and like it's the least probable catch of any in the NFL last year. Like everybody always talks about the catch, which, I mean, it's a great catch.
It's a great catch.
But that throw from Russ to put it like right there after all the stuff that he was doing, is you just don't get as much credit for, I feel like, a quarterback for like the ball placement and those sorts of things. Like it's the extending plays that catches your eye. And for Penix to kind of done what he did that for the last 2 years or even more maybe, it just makes you wonder if Sean Payton could see that and think like, this is the guy. Like, we put him in this offense, he will get the ball to the receiver every single time.
Yeah, I definitely have. Because I think you want to get the ball to your playmakers. We have, especially with Marvin Mims and Cortland Sutton, TP coming back healthy, we have some playmakers.
Yep.
Some guys that can, do some things in space. So as long as we can get them the ball, let them make their plays, give Cortland some 50-50 balls, a.k.a. 90-10 balls, I think we can really – I think we could be a solid offense. I think it's going to take us some time to really be like a dominant force, a team that people are nervous to play. You know what I'm saying? I think we need like maybe one more mismatch as far as a weapon to really put us over the edge.
Yep.
But I think we could be a really solid team with those pieces.
Yep. And then with Brock Bowers, obviously, like, he's a freak. We've talked about plenty of times on here before. Like, he's felt like after his freshman year at Georgia, I remember everybody saying, like, he's a locker top 5 pick.
Yeah.
Like, when his time comes, he's just going to be that guy. And now, for the first time ever in these past couple months, it feels like he could actually be there at 12, which is kind of crazy after the way he's been talked about for years now. Yeah. Could he? What role does he hold in a Sean Payton offense? Because obviously, like, you've had the Jimmy Grahams go through there, like Jeremy Shockey even. Yeah. I think he crossed over with Jason Witten when he was the quarterbacks coach in Dallas. Like, you go through, and there have been a lot of these great tight ends. At the same time, like, Michael Thomas also is the guy. I mentioned this with James Palmer when he was on, but Daniel Jeremiah says, like, that's why he thinks the Broncos should get him, because you could fit him into that role. Like, could you put a tight end into that Michael Thomas spot? What would that even look like?
I think it would look a little weird, but I think that anybody on offense should love to play for Sean Payton.
Yes.
Whether you're Jimmy Graham, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, like, he's going to put you in good positions. You just have to execute. So I think no matter where they put him, they played him primarily in the slot or they did keep him in line, they're going to use him the right way. He's going to be the pass catcher tight end. He's not going to be the guy run blocking 24/7. They're going to get him in space. I think that an offense can run through a tight end if you do it right. I think even now with the Kansas City Chiefs, their offense is ran through their tight end. And based off of how the defenses choose to cover Travis Kelce, that dictates to what everybody else is going to do and how your routes change. So it's very, very doable. You just have to have a really solid tight end to do it.
Yeah, it'd be fun too, because like I'm curious what that would look like. But it feels like even if you don't go get a great quarterback, running an offense through a tight end might be easier than saying, like, hey, we need you to get this ball to a receiver 15, 20 yards downfield. Yeah. Like, when it's, hey, you start with just a little curl to Brock Bowers 5 yards away. If they're on that, like, maybe you're trying to split, like, the middle in the cover 4, if they suck in and pinch that away, then your read is this outside. But when you start with kind of a simple read, which you would think would be the case with a tight end, it could, like, you couldn't quarterback proof your offense, but you could definitely make things a lot easier, it feels like, versus it's like, hey, Jerry Jeudy's going to get himself open 20 yards downfield. You got to get the ball to him.
You know, I used to look at the Patriots offense and think about, like, almost how comically simple it was because it just worked so well with Gronk. You talk about that star tight end. They used to line Gronk up at different positions, and that would dictate where they threw the ball. So if it's 3-by-1, you put Gronk at 3. You have a linebacker on him. Okay, now we know it's zone. Throw the ball to Gronk. You put Gronk at 1. There's a corner. We may like that matchup. We may not like it. If there's a linebacker that goes out, now it's man. Gronk's at 1. We throw it to Gronk. Every once in a while, we go backside, X receiver, one-on-one. That'll be Cortland Sutton. But you really can dictate what defenses can run. And then also, like, as soon as you see them come out in the formation, you know who you're throwing it to.
Yeah.
You see a linebacker versus Brock Bowers in the slot.
Exactly.
We're going right there.
And that's what Sean Payton's offense is all about. It's what it's always been about. I mean, he even goes back. When was it? I think it was during training camp. Somebody asked him about Mike Shanahan because Mike was up for Hall of Fame. Like, he was a finalist, something like that. And one of the things that Sean said was that his phrasing was he split the atom by moving Shannon Sharp off the line and just splitting him out into the slot. And right now we take that for granted. Like, Greg Dulcich, when he's on the field, half the time he's going to be in the slot and not actually at tight end. But back in the day, that wasn't what you did. Like, a tight end was a tight end. And so when you move Shannon Sharp out, that's when all that stuff started, where it's like, okay, is a linebacker on him? Oh, is a corner on him? And you figure out what those matchups are, and you build off of that. And then obviously there have been so many changes ever since then. You know, Sean was big on, like, a 6th offensive lineman. And how do you, like, defend a 6th offensive lineman? And then you get in all the weird stuff. Like, if you have a Brock Bowers, like, there's those easy decisions that a defense needs to make. Like, you're out there in 11 personnel or 12 personnel. One of your tight ends is Brock Bowers. How do you defend that? You go to your nickel? Like, if it's Bowers and Dulcich, you might have to go to your nickel. And so you can just pick all those matchups. And when you have a guy like Gronk, man coverage, you just throw him the ball. And if it's a corner, like, maybe if it's a keep on him, then maybe you don't. But
then it's zone, and then you go inside to a linebacker versus Wes Welker.
And if you have the quarterback who can just beat zone himself, then you're set. And it feels like that's a lot of what, I mean, like the Chiefs, you brought up the Chiefs. It's a lot of the same things there. Where it's just, we can force you into the coverage we want, and Mahomes will beat you in that coverage. And obviously Tom Brady, if he knows you're playing cover 2, cover 4, whatever it is, he's going to complete that pass.
I think football is all about matchups, man. Everywhere across the ball, it's all about matchups, whether you're a D-line versus going against an O-line. It doesn't matter how good you are at, outside linebacker. If you're going up against Zach Thomas.
Oh, the linebacker. Dolphins?
No,
Michael Thomas?
No, if you're like an outside linebacker, let's just say you're Myles Garrett.
Okay.
And you're going against, another All-Pro.
Trent Williams.
Or a Hall of Fame player. Like, you may win once or twice. That's how it is. But if you're going against the third guy, the backup, you expect to win that more often. So it's all about finding favorable matchups. That's why, like, they'll move a DN all the way across the line because we're looking for a matchup. So I think he's just a mismatch as far as Brock Bowers. I don't know how you really combat him,
Yeah, exactly. And it almost feels like it'd be worth just getting him. Like, instead of taking a quarterback, like, maybe you wait, maybe you get one next year. But the idea that you could just get a tight end that you maybe don't know 100% can be that guy, but really, really seems like he's going to be that guy. I mean, that goes such a long way. And, I mean, going back to the Michael Thomas thing, like, all of that stuff he did from the slot, like the quick little slant, like it's the same thing. And the difference is sometimes you put him outside instead of sometimes putting him on the line of scrimmage, put him next to a tackle. Like, there are a lot of similarities there, and if it works, that really could unlock everything. Like, as soon as you start sucking that whole defense into the middle, that's when the edges start opening up, and everything gets so much easier for Cortland Sutton and Marvin Mims and all those guys. And if you put a decent quarterback in there, maybe you can build something and add a quarterback next year.
Shoot, I wouldn't mind seeing him in a little Wildcat. I feel like he might be able to run the rock a little bit. He definitely has the ability, like run after catch. Yeah.
I don't know. I'd be really tempted to do it. Who would you take? I guess I already asked you that. Penix, Bowers. What if it's
Penix.
What would it take for you to want Bowers at 12? In what situation? Penix is obviously off the board. Who else needs to be off the board?
If Penix is off the board?
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's how it is projected by most, standards where we have, Jayden Daniels, Caleb Williams, and Penix all gone.
Yeah.
I'm going Brock Bowers.
Yeah?
Yeah. That's all it would take is that Penix wasn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just such a freak. And when you've got a guy like that, with Gronk.
Yep.
Where it's just like when he can block too, it just changes things. Because then you can't treat him like a receiver. Like you have, all of a sudden, like he just lights somebody up in the running game. Like you have him and Quinn just like going out there as bulldozers. It would just be crazy to watch. And the idea that he could unlock your running game and unlock the passing game.
Yep, all at once.
And somehow tight ends just don't get any money. It's crazy.
The linebackers of as far as pay, they're like the linebackers of the offense.
Exactly. It's kind of the same thing because you guys have to stop the run, you have to stop the pass, and there's like a couple of those freaks who like actually are like A-tier guys at both, but it just takes like you have to be built like such a specific way to be able to stop the run. Same thing, like the athleticism you need to cover a tight end or even a receiver sometimes in the slot.
Yep.
Like to be able to do both those things is almost impossible. And that's why there's like 4 or 5 guys who can do both. Same thing with tight end, and you've got Brock Bowers, who seems like he could be one of them.
Yep. Well, that's why he'll go first round.
Yep. Yeah, he's a freak. It also, okay, my last thought before we move on, it kind of reminds me of the Jerry Jeudy pick, though. And that's the one thing that holds me back because
of how he performed in college?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it's this whole thing where it's like, for years, everybody knew Jerry Jeudy. Like, we've been watching him at Bama for forever. At this point, like, a month before the draft, everybody's like, there's no way Jerry Judy's actually there. But if he is, like, could you imagine? And, like, everybody here, me and RK and Dre and I think Zach also, we were just for a month before the draft saying, like, please, Jerry Jeudy, please, Jerry Jeudy, please, Jerry Jeudy. And the fact that it didn't really work out, and he's, like, a college star who, again, 1,000 yards from scrimmage in 2022 is solid, but he didn't become a star. I kind of get those same vibes from Brock Bowers, which is like, it sounds so obvious. Like, it sounds like he is such a clear, just Pro Bowl player. What if it just doesn't translate and I feel like an idiot again?
Scared money don't make no money, man.
That is true.
You got to go for it. And we talked about it yesterday. Once you bet the $1 million, if you lose out, you just got to go in with $2 million. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
We got to keep going. We can't stop.
Yep.
And I feel like Brock will pan out, man. I really do.
I do too.
I think he'll be a solid player.
Awesome. There we go. Let's see. Circa. Circa is awesome. We've obviously been doing a lot of betting with Circa. Like I said yesterday, we did that live stream. We're doing the live stream today as well. It's going to be a long day, but we wound up making money yesterday, betting all the dogs, betting all the unders. And I'd imagine we're going to do the same thing today. So, Circa's incredible. If you're looking for a place to watch March Madness, obviously, that might be the best place in the world to go watch March Madness games. Whether it's a stadium swim, which it looked like that was popping yesterday. I think we actually might have some DNVR guys going out there for the second weekend. Oh, never mind. They decided not to, but they're probably really upset about it because that would have been awesome. Circa's incredible. You can get the Circa Colorado app and make all your bets there. Download the app at circasports.com. Circa Sports bets can only be made while physically located in the state of Colorado. You gotta be 21 or older. All rights reserved. Circa Sports Colorado encourages you to gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER or visit problemgamblingcolorado.org.
You guys know we love our friends over at Breckenridge Brewery, and it is beer season for me. I feel like summertime. I know people like beer in October, but I like beer in the summer. Because it really feels like you're outside having a good time. So check out our friends over at Breck Brew. Go to breckbrew.com for their beer locator. Right now, their beer of the month is the Avalanche Amber Ale.
It's a good one.
It's a great beer. You can't go wrong with it. We have a couple here that we keep on set. Broncos Country Pale Ale, which we love. Come down to the bar. Come have a drink. Doing the watch along. Grab a Breck Brew and go to breckbrew.com to find the brew near you.
Absolutely. All right, I mentioned this before, but maybe I didn't. I think I told you. The Broncos actually put out a bracket of their own, and it's a bracket of a whole bunch of different things. Like, there's some like historical moments in there. There's some like icons, some like just like Broncos culture things. And I thought it'd be fun to go through, and maybe we won't go through like the whole picking the bracket, but just talk about some of these, because we kind of talked about, like, you obviously weren't like a Bronco fan growing up. You've been a Bronco for like a decade, which is a long time, but there was a lot that happened before that. And so it'll be kind of fun to like go through like the Three Amigos and some of that sort of stuff.
And see if I know who that is.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Right.
Do you have that bracket? Awesome. Cool. I'm gonna pull up on here too.
Anything.
I know those are very small. No, it makes sense. Read that top corner, and I'll pull up the rest of them.
All right. Top left is the helicopter.
Okay.
Orange and the blue sunset.
Okay, there we go. That's
the
good.
first
Yeah.
matchup.
So helicopter, obvious. John Elway, right? Super Bowl. Does the dive, spin around, all that.
Oh, yeah.
The helicopter. There we go. So helicopter, this is a tough one, because there's a lot of these matchups that aren't just like, again, it's like a historical moment versus the orange and blue sunset, which is like,
beautiful.
Exactly. And it's like, God is a Broncos fan is what people say. But also like specifically during the games, because all the games are like the 2:30 games here.
Perfect time.
And so you wind up with like the third quarter, fourth quarter, the sunset. It's crazy. Which would you vote for?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I'm picking the sunset.
Yeah.
I think the sunset is still being good to me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
I think that
Is
John's
John Elway
moment
not?
was a great moment. You know what I'm saying? But I still every day get to watch that beautiful sunset. So I'm going sunset.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta go helicopter. I mean, you have to, I think. What's the second one?
The second one is Thunder and Bucky Dogs TD's 2,000-yard season.
Okay. This one to me is easy, because my understanding is Thunder and Bucky, they're like service dogs, but they were like trained to be service dog. This is gonna be like 80% right, but they brought them out for like the last like few games this year. But they aren't like doing service things. It's just like, look, service dog. I think
should be
it's
servicing.
Yeah, maybe should be servicing. That's why I like TD going for 2,000 yards.
Oh.
Again, easy winner here in my opinion.
Hands down, without a doubt.
No, that's iconic. Okay, what's the next one you hear?
I don't think people understand how hard that is to do.
2,000 is crazy. 2,000 is ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Well, 'cause then
Because we didn't even have a 1,000-yard rusher as a team this year, like 1,000-yard rusher.
I mean, haven't since Phil.
And he had 2,000 yards.
Exactly.
It's going crazy.
No, that's crazy. And everybody talks about the era too. It's like now everybody's putting up the numbers. Back then, I think it was either that year or the year before was the first time there'd ever been 2,000-yard receivers on the same team, and that was Rod Smith and Ed McCaffrey. I can't remember if it was the same team or the team before, but to have all that stuff going at the same time with Shannon Sharp, and now in Denver, like I think 2019 was the last time there was a 1,000-yard receiver or 1,000-yard rusher, and it's like this era of offense.
Yeah.
That is crazy to think about that they did that back then.
My boy's just balling.
Yep. Okay, I actually got it now. All right. So next one, we've got the back-to-back or the Three Amigos, which the Three Amigos are the one where I was like, if Todd doesn't know any of these, it's going to be the Three Amigos.
I definitely don't know what the Amigos are.
They were like the receivers. It was Mark Jackson, and I should really know these names.
Oh, you don't know either.
I know, but it was like early 80s, or no, it would have been like mid 80s, because it was like, it wasn't right when Elway started. It was a little bit after that, and there was like this span. I think like a couple of them were first-round draft picks, and they're all like these little receivers, and they just went insane. Like they were putting up some pretty crazy numbers. I think
like Fab
they
Five
might have been on
vibes.
what?
Like Fab Five vibes.
Exactly. Yeah, called like the Three Amigos. Like they were like, I think there was like a song. It was like a song that everybody was singing.
Oh
yeah,
my
you hear
gosh.
saying, yeah, there's a song, and it didn't last super long. Yeah, Ricky Natil was one of them. Who's the other one? The chat will come up with it. Yeah, they're definitely gonna beat me.
I remember, what was it, about 10 years ago, Taco Bell ran a commercial in Denver with the Three Amigos. It was a special thing. They all came out. They all had it was a weird thing. But it made sense. Amigos, Taco Bell, you know.
Yeah. No, I like it. Then of course back to back.
Somebody
Those are the
Vance
Super Bowls. Vance Johnson. There we go. That was the other one. Yeah. Those people in the chat will obviously remember. I've only heard like the stories, obviously, but yeah, that was like an era back then. Cool. I feel like it's got to be the back to back though.
Cool. Oh yeah, back to back.
I mean, the won the Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Next up, Orange Sunday versus Miles. So Orange Sunday, obviously everybody just wears orange.
Okay.
It's like a good vibe thing. Miles, the mascot, Miles.
I was really thinking that you were talking about an ice cream there for a minute. Like
Me
a
as
Sunday that was like orange ice cream.
No,
Me as
Sunday
well.
with a Y. With an E.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never spell Sunday, so.
How do you say ice cream sundae in Spanish?
I know, but I don't remember right now.
But it's not
Crema?
Domingo.
No, it's not.
Because it's not Sunday in Spanish, the word, huh?
Frio. Crema.
Yeah, this one's easy to me. I mean, Orange Sunday. I'm just not a mascot guy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, over Miles?
Over Miles.
No,
Bro,
no.
You're biased, though, because you spend, like, every day with Miles.
When do I spend every day with Miles?
I feel like it's every day on Twitter. I see, like, a picture of you and Miles, like, doing something.
We've had our moments, but I'm not just going we're not just best friends.
Yeah, no.
We homies, but I don't know him like that. Like,
No, we're not doing Miles like that. Miles is definitely over one day of orange.
One day a week. Every
Yeah.
Sunday. Okay. I mean,
Miles does stuff on the field. He goes to Children's Hospital.
He does.
Like, Miles is a G.
you can't say no to Miles.
biased, though.
I mean,
You're always hanging out with Miles.
he's never met Mrs. Miles, so I don't think it's that much of a friendship.
Speaking of Miles, this
And
one.
if I do like a autograph event with Miles and the kids are like 7 and under, his line is longer than mine.
Mm-hmm.
The parents be over at my line and all the kids be in Miles' line. Miles is a big deal.
You got the kids, you got the parents like, yo, go get Todd David's autograph, and they're like, wait, I'm in Miles' line.
Exactly.
Miles, that is crazy. They do that like Rockies games and stuff too. Like it'll be like, hey, all the kids come here. You get to like meet the mascot in the third inning. There's baseball going on, and everybody just wants to stand in line to see the guy in the costume. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Not meant for me. Keeping it in kind of the same vein, we've got the Tebow to DT touchdown
Okay.
versus Mini Miles.
Oh, dang.
We've learned you're a mascot guy.
I am. I love Mini Miles. Mm-hmm. But I think I got to go with the touchdown.
You have to. Yeah. I was like, for me, obviously, you weren't even a Bronco yet at the time.
Nope.
So that's where, like, for me, I mean, that was easy. That was crazy. Do you remember watching that game?
I remember that. I do remember that.
Yeah.
Good times.
Oh, the very good times. Rod Smith, wide open. See, I don't know what that one. I think that's a call.
Wait, what?
I think that must be. It says Rod Smith and then in quotes wide open. And so I'd imagine that's like the Super Bowl call because he did have that one long touchdown. There was like an 80-yarder, 75-yarder or something. So it must be like the broadcast saying that. Or Thunderstorm, which is the
horse.
skydivers.
Oh,
no, that's
yeah,
Thunder.
Yeah. Thunder, yeah. I don't know what the other one is.
Exactly. Like I can picture the touchdown, but also I would have been like 1 when it happened.
Uh-huh.
So I love skydivers.
Okay, let's just do Thunderstorm.
They used to do skydivers back at the Montana games, but then somebody hit a tree coming in and got like mangled, and that was the end of that. That was like 10 years ago.
So it was that call from the Super Bowl
Yeah.
against the Falcons where he's just running down the middle like on a post.
Wide
And he
open?
just- wide open. He takes, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm curious what the chat thinks of our picks. Okay, another one you're biased about. No fly zone or the...
Somebody said pause. I was going to leave it alone.
Wait. Wide open. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because it was just a little
I know,
bit.
right, okay.
Yeah, so I couldn't have picked that one.
Okay.
Also, if we say pause every time on this show, we're never going to get anything out.
There's a lot of pauses. No fly zone or mutton busting?
No, I don't even know what that is. No fly zone.
So you wouldn't know the mutton busting because it's a halftime show? It's what they do.
Mutton is sheep.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
And so what they do is they take kids
and they ride the sheep.
The sheep
cool.
and they see how far
like
they
the
go.
thing they do at the rodeos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's when the stock show's in town, they like do it during halftime of one of the games. But again, you're busy. But that is incredible. Against basically anything else, I would have to take button busting because it lives up to the hype. No fly zone. I mean, that's a Super Bowl day.
Come on, guys.
Bucky, which is the horse on top of the scoreboard.
Okay.
Or the Orange Crush.
Why is he not Miles?
Miles is the horse mascot. Bucky's the horse on the scoreboard, and Thunder's the live horse. I don't.
Wow, they all have okay.
They all have different. Yeah.
So Bucky or who?
But then the other thing is that they have those dogs named Thunder and Bucky, but those names were already taken. So if we're not repeating the names, I don't know. That's a separate conversation. Versus the Orange Crush defense.
Oh, Orange Crush defense.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that speaks for itself. Okay, the incomplete chant.
Yeah, come. Please.
Yeah, that's the one. Versus Thunder the horse.
Ooh, that's a tough one. These
Because
are
they're both like same category.
Wait.
Like they're game day vibes.
Real quick, did you ever get an incomplete chant going? Like because you got an incompletion on somebody?
I'm sure.
Of course.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I'm just wondering, like, if you
Third
remember
down,
one,
yeah.
a specific one where you're just on the field and people are chanting incomplete.
That is awesome.
I don't know if I can think of one, but I know there had to be one. Yeah.
Yeah. That reminds me of the Steelers. They play Renegade, the song by Styx. Do you remember that? Where it's like it'll be like the fourth quarter, and like if the defense needs a stop or something, it's like the song they play.
No, I only played in Pittsburgh, I think, once.
Is that the playoff game? No, that was in Denver.
No, yeah, that was here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a regular season game.
Huh. Okay.
Oh wait, was that the one where Cortland Sutton got injured and Drew Lock was quarterback in that 2020 season?
No, I don't know if I remember that one. The one early was like Antonio Brown had a good game against us.
Yeah, I remember that one. That sucked, yeah. That sucked. Okay, real quick, before we get back to this, we should give a shout out to more of our friends. Starting with American Financing. If, for example, you just bought Russell Wilson's house, hopefully you went to American Financing because they can give you the best rates. It's actually a pretty good time to be making moves on that sort of stuff because interest rates are finally dropping into the 5s, which makes new homes way more affordable.
Thank God.
Market's kind of warming up. There's a whole bunch of stuff. If you're interested, reach out to American Financing because they've got a whole bunch of perks. They can get you a pre-approval letter in 24 hours or less. All their mortgage consultants are salary-based, so they're just there to help you. They don't get commissions or anything like that. Their job is just to save you money. They care about your success. It only takes about 10 minutes to get started, costs you nothing to see how much you can save, and they're a local Colorado-based company. They're licensed in all 50 states, though, so if you're listening from outside of Colorado, they can also help you out. They've helped thousands of customers save real money. They put themselves or help them put themselves into a better financial position. They've been doing it for more than 25 years. Call American Financing. All it takes is a 10-minute, no-obligation phone call today and get you the best investment you can make in Colorado, which is a home. Call today and tell them DNVR sent you at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or go to americanfinancing.net/DNVR. Oh, NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. APR for rates in the 5s start at 6.799% for well-qualified borrowers. Call 303-695-7000 for details about credit, costs, and terms.
And shout out to our friends over at Circle K. We know Circle K has great snacks. I mean, when they keep restocking this thing and they keeps getting down to maybe 5 or 6 snacks in there. So we're loving it here at DNVR. We're tearing it up. We want to make sure that you guys go sign up for their Inner Circle membership. It's an easy download. You can download with the QR code on the screen right now. You enter your email and your phone number, and you're fully enrolled. After you're enrolled, the first 5 fill-ups with gas are 25 cents off, and the first 5 Polar Pops are free. Also, you get every 6th free on several items such as pizza, roller grill, dispensary beverages, donuts, and more. Sign up with the QR code on the screen or visit www.circlek.com/inner-circle for more information. You can also get a free any size Polar Pop from Colorado Circle K's by texting DNVR to 31310. That's DNVR to the number 31310. Messages and data rates apply.
Also, in the chat, they're saying the other stadiums are copying the incomplete thing.
We started it.
We definitely started it.
Okay.
Let us. Who is actually copying it? 'Cause I'm
Everybody
curious.
does that.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Huh.
Every stadium does that. But I didn't know it
Oh,
started in Denver.
did the Vikings do it? Because that would make sense.
I'm sure that they did. I'm
Okay.
sure that they did.
Yeah. So it started with Alan Roach, who's the PA guy, who then left when the Vikings built their new stadium to go be their PA guy because he's like from there. He still does the Avs games though. I think. Obviously, when there's like a conflict, he goes
He
up
also
there.
does the Rapids ones.
Oh, he also does the Rapids. He also does like the Super Bowls and all the big stuff. He's like awesome at it. So like if he did the incomplete thing up in Minnesota,
It makes
like,
sense.
it would kind of make sense. And I guess that would kind of open the floodgates once it's not just a Denver thing. I wonder if that's what happened.
Copycats.
Mile High Magic versus Steve Atwater's hit on Christian Okoye. Do you know that hit?
Yeah, I know
Okay,
that
good.
hit.
Okay, good.
I love that hit.
It's a great hit.
Yeah, it's a great hit.
That's one where like I remember when I was like in elementary school, you just like go to YouTube and just
And
watch hits.
Boom.
Exactly. And that was like the big Broncos hit.
And he was running through people at that time. Like that was like
Yeah.
something that didn't happen to him. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Well, it like ended him. It was
Yeah.
he broke him like you guys broke Cam Newton.
Yeah. that
It's the
was
same
it.
thing.
Yeah, and Steve's my guy, so I got to go with that one.
Yeah.
for sure.
No, I think that's easy. That is crazy though. Cuz he is such a big guy. My high salute versus Champ Bailey's interception versus the Patriots. Like the long one where he runs up the sideline.
I'm going Mile High Salute.
Yep.
I think people still Mile High Salute when they make plays.
Yep.
The city will forever remember that, so I think that's part of it.
I'm definitely like big Champ fan, and I would love to pick him. Mile High Salute is just iconic, though. You can't beat it.
Can't beat it.
Got a few more. The fumble versus the drive. The fumble was one that I don't even know.
The drive was John Elway.
Drive was John Elway.
Yep.
Yep. That's yeah. I mean, it has to be the drive. Like it took him to a Super Bowl. It's
Yep.
like why Browns fans. That was in the stretch. I think the Broncos won like 28 of 29 against the Browns.
Oh, dang.
Starting around that time.
Then everybody went that same route.
Yeah, yes. And so then the fumble, the fumble, I think was in the same game.
Was it a fumble that led to the drive?
It must be late in the fourth quarter.
You got to remember there's like
Oh no,
3 different games that like the Browns
exactly.
lost in the
I think
AFC.
this was the year before or after that's where they were trying to tie. Who forced that fumble? The play on second down at the Denver 8-yard line. Browns needed 5 yards for first down. Bernie Kosar handed the ball off to Biner on a trap. Broncos plugged the hole. Jeremiah Castile, Tony Lilly. Instead of continuing to veer left, he straightened his run to avoid running directly. And they're very detailed about this play. Point is, it was
like it.
Jeremiah Castile who forced it. Interesting. Different years. Yeah. See, these are the ones that the chat could hate me for not knowing. But yeah, I mean, the drive is
Yeah.
it's the drive versus the fumble.
Iconic.
All right. Okay, we're getting down to it. Altitude sickness, 5280, like all the branding, all that sort of stuff, or Tom Jackson's "Do You Believe Now," which was that also against the Browns. This is another one that the chat might hate me for not knowing.
I
the
like
details
the
of.
altitude sickness because I love that video that they play in the fourth quarter.
That's good. With the
I always felt like
oxygen.
it got in people's heads, and I always felt like it worked in our favor. So, yeah, and it works so well. Like being able to play a full game and look to the other sideline, and they're just like, that's when you know, okay, it's our game. You know,
Yeah.
we just got to keep our foot on the pedal. So,
That is
altitude
awesome.
sickness is
See, and I've kind of the whole
best weapon.
5280 thing. It's kind of worn on me, like because
You
I
like
feel
it
like
now.
everywhere you go, it's like 52.8, 52.8, 52.8, and so it kind of loses its effect. But it is true that it is awesome. Like it might feel like to me maybe it's just like everywhere a little too much, but when it's done the right way, like the Nuggets will do that stuff too, like fourth quarter, like and it makes sense and it is awesome.
I think a lot of teams do it because I think the Rapids do it as well. So
Yeah,
any
makes
team,
sense.
anything that requires like a lot of endurance in this, like right here, I think the Avs are starting to do a little bit of that too. I
We
think
started it.
Yeah, I think it was
Yep.
the Broncos the one that brought that in.
Yep. Barrel Man or 509, which is when we first talked about this. I couldn't get what 509 was off the top of my head.
Oh,
Peyton
that's what you
Manning's
told me.
Manning's touchdown to Demarius. That was Demarius for the
For the record.
Touchdown record against the 49ers. And I was at that game. That was a crazy one. Sunday Night Football. And Barrelman's also iconic. But he was kind of before your time, too. He might have still been around there.
No, he came around.
He was still around.
Yeah, he was there. He was around. But I think Peyton, I mean, that year, those years that we had Peyton, I think they were all great. Whether it was record-breaking, career-wise or for a season, like just great years all the way around. You can't beat those years.
Yeah, I think you're right. No, I gotta take Barrelman. It's just an icon. Did you ever meet him?
I've seen him with his shirt off sometime with a barrel on.
Okay.
Seen him in the stands.
I was curious about like those guys, if like they're ever like actually around the facility, but not really.
No.
Makes sense because it's just a fan.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a crazy fan.
No,
on top of that.
No fans are crazy. First of all.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say that about anybody. I love all of our fans.
Okay, 2 more matchups. Omaha versus Shannon Sharp getting on the phone, calling the National Guard, saying help is on the way.
Dang, Omaha is iconic, but that call is hilarious.
Yep. No, it's got to be Shannon Sharp.
I feel like that call's even more iconic, right? Because I feel like besides Shannon Sharp's play, that's like the first time we saw his personality and who he kind of will become.
Yep.
But Omaha like took over. Like
it did.
People were saying it on TV and movies that had nothing to do with football. Like,
but I almost feel like Omaha is more national, whereas the Shannon Sharp thing, like to Denver, means a little bit more.
Yeah.
Or it's like, because that's like a Broncos thing, whereas Omaha, again, it's like a Broncos thing, but it's like it got bigger. Yeah.
It's bigger than us.
It's a Peyton Manning thing. Yeah.
Even Omaha Productions putting out great films.
Exactly.
Like, it's huge.
Exactly.
But still. Help
that
is
is
on
crazy
the way.
that happened. We never, Tebowing isn't on here. That was the one before that, was the Tebowing. That's fine.
I like T-bowing.
Yeah, that was a throwback. I recently found out that my girlfriend was a planker. She was super into planking.
What does that mean?
What
is that? What do you mean? No, I know what planking is. I was just.
There we go. Yeah.
I was just messing with
She was telling me, she was like, yeah.
Because it sounds crazy.
Used to be super into that. I was like, that's a weird thing to have been like.
That was.
I guess if you were just like a 4th grader when that was happening.
Was that her age at the time?
I think so. Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
She was also in Minnesota. Not much to do out there.
True. That is
she came out to you
true.
like, I have to tell you something.
So I was like, I'll never see
I
you
had
the
an
same way
addiction
again.
before you met me.
Please, if you see me laying down, facing forward, flip
Just
me
know
around.
what I'm doing.
All right. We got one matchup left, but when we're done with that matchup, we're going to answer some questions in the chat. So throw some questions in there, and you hear if you wouldn't mind starring them. 7. Okay, cool. With a couple super chats. Cool. We love those super chats. Those in there as well. Last matchup. Mile High Thunder. Everybody stomping their feet. Gets loud. Or Von Miller's strip sack in Super Bowl 50.
Come on, guys. You're making it too easy on me. Strip sack, baby.
Yep. It's a strip sack.
For the win.
But again, like Mile High Thunder, it's iconic. It's been like a thing for like 40 years. You got a ring. You got one of your 3 rings. Might not without that play. All right. I should check. Yep. So you're on that one. Yes. All right. Let's hit some questions. First of all, please no Brock Bowers. Jeez.
That's sad.
That's harsh. Blow it all up. Wow. I know what that means. Saw the pod yesterday. No to Knicks, aka the yards after catch merchant. His completion percentage is skewed due to a low average depth of target. His yards as well due to having 2 top 10 receivers in yards after the catch. I kind of agree. At the same time, it's Sean Payton offense. Like that's kind of what Drew Brees always did was low average depth of target, hit the guy, let him run. And there's a skill to hitting guys and letting them run after the catch. Like when you put it in the right spots, they're able to keep running instead of holding him up and forcing him to stop and start again.
No, I totally agree. I understand what he's saying, though. That was my kind of knock on Bo Nix.
Yeah.
But the argument yesterday was Bo Nix versus... What was the argument you hear? Bo Nix versus who?
Yesterday was Drake May and Leatu Latu. Bo Nix was...
Oh, it was Roma Dunte.
Roma
Oh,
Dunte,
yeah, versus Rome. Yeah, just for the team, I think that's the best option.
Definitely.
You know, if another quarterback is there, like Penix at 12, I'm taking Penix.
Yep.
Trading back and taking Penix. So, I feel you.
Yeah. I think I'm going to do as much as I can this next month to get excited about Bo Nix.
Okay.
That's my goal. Because I think it's going to happen, and when it happens, I want to enjoy it.
Yep.
I don't think that's gonna happen. If I'm honest, I don't think you're gonna get excited.
Yeah, it's been years and years and years. GGG says, I'm not going to be mad about trading down, but I don't want to trade up. We don't have the resources to risk losing the future on this year alone, in my opinion.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's probably true. I think if you do trade up and you get, say, like Jayden Daniels, and it works out, it was the right move.
Yeah.
But I agree. Like, in this situation, like, it just doesn't seem like it's worth the gamble.
Yeah, I feel like it's too much risk right now for the position that we're in. I think we're building, and I think it's going to take years to do, so I think we need to keep adding pieces down the line. And if we're giving up, what they say, 2 firsts, maybe. I was going through, like, looking at some of, like, the best trades of all times. And it was talking about different running backs, or even Julio Jones or Patrick Mahomes, like the best trade up
of all
time. And like back in the day, like I was surprised to see how cheap it was to trade up in the first round.
Yeah.
Like you only had to give up the pick that you had in the first and maybe a second or a third, and like you're up. Now it's like we want your whole life savings, your firstborn child. Like
Exactly.
we want it all. So I think it's too much to give up to try and move up.
Yeah, I agree. If you're looking at this like long term and saying like they're rebuilding, what's your like target year? When are you saying like we're back, we're competitive?
I think we can do it in 2 years. So not this year, not next year, but the year after that. I think we could be really competitive.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
This year you just do what it takes to get through it. The next year, have some excitement. Maybe make the playoffs, maybe not. But then the year after, you're actually good again.
Yeah.
All right, what's next? Oh, there we go. Oh, no, it's all good. Zachary Gardner with the super chat saying, have you guys looked at Jared Wiley? Could be a good option down the board if you don't want tight end early. No, I haven't. I will give him a quick Google and say who he is and then look at him later. Oh, TCU. Interesting. We like the TCU guys. Loading.
Yeah, I'm not a big tight end connoisseur, I guess I could say.
No, really.
You know?
Yeah, there's a couple.
There's a couple good ones every year, and those are primarily who I know and follow. But I can't say that I'm scouting every tight end.
6'6", 249.
Okay.
Long arms. 4.6 40-yard dash. I would imagine that with all those things looking as good as they do, that he really didn't do much as a player. Which is always,
why don't we know who he is?
It's always one or the other, but that's probably why we heard of him. I will dig in deeper, but I mean 6'6" tight end, tough to argue with that. What's up next? Yeah. Cool. Todd, what's harder to defend in your opinion? A Penix Sean Payton spread it around offense or a Nick Sean Payton short game on time offense? And that comes in from Angel T.
Ooh, that's
on Hell Team, maybe.
That's a pretty good question. I think when you have the pieces to spread everybody out, I think it's harder to defend. But you have to have solid pieces to do that.
Like who? Like what kind of pieces?
Like your slot, you have to have a really good slot player.
Yeah.
And you have to have a 50-50 ball guy on the outside for sure that can make a safety lean one way or another, kind of open up the middle of the field a little bit. And then you have to have a quarterback that is quick and on the money and gets the ball in the hands of his playmakers, and they kind of use the space to evade players and take something 10 yards and take it 20 more. So that's really tough. Bo Nix, I don't know if I feel like that plays to more of my strengths, like as a linebacker.
Yeah,
like out in space is a little different. Yeah, everything's in front of me, and I can kind of break and help on RPOs. I can make those tackles. I can make tackles in the run. It's a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one do you think fits the Broncos better, like in terms of their personnel?
I think it will be a healthy mix.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think there's times that we're gonna need. Because of the bodies at tight end we can't just be spread out all the time.
Yeah,
with Sean, he likes to go 12 personnel, 13 personnel, 22 personnel sometimes. So I think it's a good mix of heavy bodies that run routes and then also skinny bodies that can block sometimes.
Okay.
So he does both.
Yeah. Jose, if you get Bowers and no quarterback, what would prevent him from being another Kyle Pitts?
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Also, I mean, like, another Kyle Pitts isn't, like, that bad of a thing. Like, he hasn't put up the ridiculous numbers that everybody expected, but, 667 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns as a tight end last year. It's not bad.
No, it's not bad.
Like, that's solid production from a tight end. I imagine there's only, like, a handful with more production than that last year.
Yeah.
And they used him weird. Yeah.
We'll just be waiting for our Kirk Cousins.
Just be waiting for our Kirk Cousins. Oh, God. Yeah. I'm curious how that goes. Alex Roberts fishing. Are we so sure Stiddy can get the most out of Brock Bowers? We are sure he can't get the most out of him. But I think he could get a solid amount out of him. I think
that sounds crazy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That wasn't my best. Yeah.
No. Yeah. I don't know if it would be his best, but I do think he would be. They could work well together. I think he's going to help him.
Also,
we
like
can say that
exactly, he's going to help Stidham. Like I think Brock Bowers might be able to get the most out of Jarrett Stidham, and that might be a better way to look at it. Also, that reminded me yesterday on the watch along. It's like 10 o'clock, and we've all just been sitting there for forever. And I think it was Kansas was about to shoot a 3. No, it was Washington State was about to shoot a 3, and somebody has yelled, "Oh no, he's gonna jack it," and that was one that needs to be clipped. Yeah, that was a good time. Okay, we got a couple more here before we get out. Edward Wright, how many of these quarterback draftees will be around for second contracts? Well, if you go back through the last decade of drafts, there's typically one first-round quarterback a year, like on average, that kind of is the answer. And that's if you count like Kyler Murray is kind of like the dividing line of like he is their answer at quarterback. Anyone below that, no. So you're getting Kyler Murray or better once a year. It's not like a great rate considering there's going to be like 5 of these guys in the first round.
Yeah.
But if I were to answer the question, I'd say like 2 and be a little optimistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I feel like it's either going to be the best draft class ever or it's going to be the worst. I don't think there's a middle ground because if you draft 6 in the first round and only 2 of them do well, like I don't feel like that was a good draft.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Okay. Joel O. I think that's an O. Yeah. Does Sutton fit more with Penix or Nix?
I think Penix.
Absolutely.
I think Penix. Penix can put the football where it needs to be.
Yep.
So Cortland can go up and make the catch. I think he'll allow Cortland to be able to be in position to see either he's catching it or nobody's catching it.
Exactly.
So I think it'll be good.
Also, I forgot to bring this up. The Christian Fulton just signed this morning, the cornerback, former first-round pick. Titans drafted him. I can't remember where. Oh, he went to the Chargers. Broncos reportedly were in the mix. Could be going after a corner is what it sounds like. Which isn't the biggest surprise, but maybe we should have brought that up. Be on the lookout for something like that coming soon. One more after this one. David Freeze. George Payton is at the Michigan Pro Day today, right? Yes, George Payton is, as well as the offensive line coach, Zach Streif. Michigan obviously has a great offensive line. They've had a great offensive line for a long time. But somebody was saying, it's some reporter saying that the team executives that he talked to at the Combine all said the best interviews were all of the Michigan guys. Like, they all knew exactly what was happening. One of those guys, Drake Nugent, Colorado kid, I can't remember what high school, but one of Matt McChesney's guys that he's trained up, and he went to Stanford, then transferred, now was the center at Michigan. It'd be fun to bring him back in particular. Okay, last one. Oh, this is a tough one. We might need to do some studying. Blow it all up. Todd, what do you think of Jeremiah Trotter, the linebacker from Clemson?
I mean, he has good numbers, All-American.
Yeah.
I don't know much about him and all of the ins and outs of how he plays, but he has good numbers and good production. SEC school, you got to think that kind of counts for something. But I have to do more research to get back to you on that one.
Yep. He's like a big thumper. Like, he'll fill that role, but he isn't the best athlete, like in terms of sideline to sideline or like covering guys. And so that's why he's not a first-round pick. But you have to like the bloodlines and all that sort of stuff. Like, if your dad is Jeremiah Trotter, you're going to be a good linebacker.
Yeah.
Seems like a good bet.
And I feel like all of that is based on scheme, too. Like, what you ask your linebackers to do can really dictate how athletic they need to be.
Yeah.
Like, you can have a very dominant linebacker that's not as athletic but fits perfectly in this scheme. So it all depends. He can't go to a team that is going to ask him to be the middle runner and cover 2 every play and make open field tackles. Like, that's the disservice to him. He just has to be in a system that fits him.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. That will do it for today. We'll be back Monday and Tuesday. Maybe bring in like a guest. I guess Zach will be calling in from the owners' meetings. But we'll see. We might have a third with us. So stay tuned for that. Have a good weekend, and hopefully you're making a bunch of money with Circa. Oh, also, we're doing the live stream downstairs all day with all these games, and they're about to start trying to give away that Todd Davis signed card. So
all day long.
If you want that, it's just hop right on over. They're live right now. And see you guys on Monday.